So, you've been talking about building an online presence. You're planning, you're doing research, you're thinking it through, and you still haven't started. Let me guess, you're not ready. Look, I get it. You want to look like a pro. You want to figure out some things before you step into the light. But the hard truth is, you'll never feel ready. Ever. And if you keep waiting for that perfect moment, you'll be stuck exactly where you are, watching other people take opportunities that were meant for you. Trust me, I know this because I've lived it. After many years of helping other people with their brands, I still had to fight the same fears when it came time to build my own. So in this video, I'll show you why waiting to be ready is about the biggest mistake you can make, and why the only way forward is to start before you're ready. Story. A few years ago, I found myself in a tough spot. Work had dried up and I needed to get clients. Out of desperation, I was willing to do anything, including something I'd been putting off for a long time, which was creating video content. I didn't feel ready, but when things got desperate enough, those feelings didn't matter anymore. I had to act. So I started nervous, stiff. I remember struggling to even listen to the sound of my own voice, let alone watch myself on screen. But eventually I pushed past those early videos. I got used to hearing myself. I got used to watching myself on screen. I got comfortable in front of the camera. But not much long after that, I wasn't as consistent anymore, and that's pretty much why I have to start again from scratch this time. But that's a story for another day. The lesson I learned though is that you think you're not ready, but if your life depended on it, if I held a gun to your head and said, publish your first post, create that video, hit publish, hit record, you would start without hesitating, right? So that moment taught me the rule that drives this whole video. Action first, clarity second. And that's what most people don't realize. You're waiting to feel ready, but readiness doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. And if you're still stuck on the sidelines and you're waiting to feel ready, chances are it's because of one of these three reasons. 1, you want to look like a pro from day one. You expect your first appearance online to be polished, crisp, perfect even. For some people, it's about getting the right gear, the 4K camera, the lighting, spruced up studio. For other people, especially in professional fields, it's about getting the right qualification, certification, completing the course. But you don't need more gear, you don't need more qualifications, at least to start. Because you already have what you need. You already have your experiences, you already have your knowledge, you already have your perspective or your point of view. And to be honest, the actual work in building an online presence is learning how to extract from the knowledge you already have, the experiences you already had, and package that into an experience that people want to connect with and consume. Let me give you an example from my own journey. I currently don't like my studio setup. I don't like the camera I'm recording with. I don't like my visual identity system, the colors especially. But as much as I would like to change those things right now, they're not priority for me. The most important thing for me now is to learn how to put together a video presentation in a way that people find interesting and want to consume. I'm also learning how to put together a live show, live streaming, in a way that people find interesting and want to consume and build community that way. Those are the priorities for me. And the only way to do that is to show up consistently and improve something every single time. The way I think about it is build momentum first and then mastery will come eventually. 2, you think people will pay attention early on. So you might imagine your first few appearances online as a big moment, and therefore you feel like you have to be ready, if not you waste the attention. The reality is nothing happens early on, absolutely nothing. Your first few posts, your first few videos, your first few whatever it is you're putting out is not going to get much attention. That's just the truth. Now, friends, family, colleagues might support, and then you might then be thinking, those people will see what I put out, and I don't want to come out looking rough and not well put together. And while I understand the sentiment, I would say this: you need humility early on to be able to be willing to try, fail, learn, improve, whether people are watching you or not. 3, you're not clear enough on your direction. If you spent any amount of time online, you've probably heard advice like pick a niche, get your content pillars, strategy first. And listen, strategy matters. I'm a strategist, of course, I'm going to tell you it matters. But to be completely honest with you, no amount of planning can prepare you for the real game. At some point, you're going to have to pick a direction, no matter how imperfect it is, and start moving. Because no matter how good the advice is, there is no one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one person might not work for you. And the only way you'll know that is by executing, getting real data from real attempts and adjusting based on your reality. I'll give you an example from my own journey. Earlier this year, my content plan was to publish 1 long-form YouTube video, 2 short-form YouTube videos, 1 newsletter every week, and then every single day I was going to publish on LinkedIn. When it came time to execute, I wasn't able to get anywhere near YouTube. All I was able to do was the weekly newsletter, and my daily posts on LinkedIn. But I really wanted to do YouTube, so I had to go back to the drawing board. But if I didn't execute, I wouldn't know that that plan wasn't for me. And the same goes for you. If you feel stuck, it could be because you're not clear enough. When you don't have a clear enough picture of how to get to where you want to be from where you currently are, it can be difficult to feel confident enough to start. Now, as a strategist, I could actually help you paint that big picture to an extent. I even have a product dedicated to this. It's called the Private Lab. One of the things we do in the Private Lab is we help you to paint the big picture. But the most important thing I think we do for beginners is that we help you map out your first few steps, so you know the first few steps to take from where you currently are today. I believe it's important because the most valuable thing you can do for your brand is to take action as quick as possible, even if the action ends in failure, because that failure actually helps you gain more clarity. You see, clarity doesn't come before action, it comes because of action. So even if you got those things you were waiting for in order for you to start, you still wouldn't feel ready. And the feeling of not being ready is not a bad thing. It's just a sign that you're leaving the comfort zone. And the feeling, it comes with this part of the journey. And interestingly enough, it doesn't disappear simply because you start. It doesn't disappear after your first post, definitely doesn't disappear after your 10th. Because with each new step comes new stakes, and with it, resistance. That said, here are 3 reasons why you will never feel ready. 1. You're building skills you've never needed before. Building an online presence is about the most multidisciplinary thing you will ever do. There's a plethora of skills you need to learn in order for you to connect with people through a screen and build trust with strangers online. And naturally, it feels unnatural at first, and that's why you feel unready, because you are unready. But the only way to get ready is by taking action. To use myself as a case study again, at the point of recording this video, I have only ever done 2 live streams in my life. The second one was literally last week Friday. You cannot even begin to imagine the utter chaos that goes on in my head before I go live. But I do it anyway because I know that in order for me to get skilled enough, good enough, comfortable enough to put together a good live show, I need enough repetition. And that's the point. You don't become ready before you start. You become ready because you start. 2, you won't know what works until you're already doing it. You can read every blog post, you can watch every YouTube tutorial, can plan out the perfect strategy on a whiteboard, but absolutely nothing teaches faster than real feedback from real attempts. Again, to go back to my example of my initial content plan for 2025, it took me attempting to execute it to realize that the plan needed some serious adjustments. The point is, you can't plan your way to clarity. You have to work your way there. You come up with a plan, you execute on the plan, you analyze the data from the execution and use that data to tweak the plan and execute again, and the cycle goes on and on and on. At the end of the day, action brings clarity, not the other way around. 3, discomfort is a part of the process. Most people feel like if they were truly ready, they'll feel confident, calm, fully prepared. But if anything, the discomfort is a sign that you're stretching into new territory, and growth often feels awkward at first. I mean, the way I feel about my first couple of live streams now is the same way I felt about my first couple of videos back then. To call them rough around the edges is me putting it nicely. But what I've learned from both experiences is you never get good at creating videos if you never publish them. And you never get good at producing live shows if you never go live. Do the first one, do another, then another. Do it badly, do it rough, do it uncomfortably, but do it and try to improve something every single time, because that's the only way to grow. At the end of the day, discomfort isn't a sign to wait longer. It's a sign that you're right where you need to be. So you don't need to feel ready in order to start. As a matter of fact, the people who win the space don't wait for readiness. They start building anyways. And like I said before, if you're never going to feel ready, you might as well start building now. So these are 3 reasons why starting before you're ready might be the smartest thing you ever do. 1, action builds clarity. The things you're worried about right now, like your message, how to grow your audience, how you come across on screen, you can't figure it out by thinking or planning alone. You also have to take action in order to figure it out. Every piece of content you create, every video, every post, it gives you some kind of feedback, and that feedback tells you what resonates, what doesn't resonate, and where you need to adjust. Because like I said, you can't think your way to clarity, you can't plan your way to clarity, you have to work your way there. 2, progress is invisible at the start. At the beginning, it can feel like nothing is happening because you put out content and it will be met with silence because no one will pay attention. But the way to look at it is every piece of content you put out is like planting a seed. Now, some seeds take days to sprout, some take months, some take years, some might never sprout, but you will always get better at planting. But the magic of it all is that the results of your effort compound over time, but you need to start putting in the effort first in order to be able to get some good returns in the future. 3. Starting is your competitive advantage. Let's be honest, most people will keep waiting to be sure, waiting to feel polished, waiting to feel ready, waiting for permission in some cases. But the people who start, however rough, however clumsy, however bad, those are the people that will eventually break through. So starting actually gives you a head start, and in the long run, consistency beats polish every single time. So we've already established that polish takes time. It's not something you prepare for, it's something you grow into. So if you're going to prepare for anything, you want to prepare for when attention comes your way, because eventually it will. And when it does, you want to have enough reps under your belt. You want to meet the attention with confidence, not panic. And let's be honest, most of us are building personal brands and building online presence for our businesses because we want to make money, at least in 99% of the cases. And like I've said before, nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly okay. But you're not going to make money from day one. So why wait till you're ready to go all in? So why not start now in whatever capacity you can, so that by the time you're ready to give it your full attention, you're not starting from zero, you've built some consistency and you're giving yourself some kind of training. Even if you're not attracting attention yet, at least you're no longer a cold beginner and you're walking into a system that is already in motion. And that's the best kind of preparation you can have. Now, if you're wondering where to start with all of this, I have a framework that could actually get you off the ground. There is a video in the description that walks you through that framework. And if you want to work with me directly to map out your strategy, your content, and your online presence, then book a session in the private lab. The link is below. Finally, if you found the video helpful, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe. That said, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.